Sound check, sound check. Testing, testing. Welcome to Formula 7 Racing. We are live here in Tier 1 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. It is going to be epic. If Tier 1, if Tier 3 or Tier 2 have anything to go by, it is going to be spectacular. It takes so much courage and determination. It takes so much race IQ, and it really is. I can't think of the word where you've just got to stay focused the entire time throughout the race. And if you make one slight mistake, you are out of there. So Joshua does have a qualifying ban. I think he has 2 qualifying bans. Looking at the penalties just then, it looks like he's accumulated more penalty points, and he's hit a benchmark, so I will have to check that out. But we're on board with Deadly, the newly promoted Tier 1 driver, and we do have a debutant here in Tier 1, and it is Jonas. I'll call him Malium Jonas. I'll call him Jonas. He's a debutant here in Tier 1, so nice to see him. Casper is joining as well, so we do have 18 drivers, but with Joshua's qualifying ban, only 2 drivers will be eliminated in Q1 thus far. So we're on board with Deadly, and Power Twan is out on track as well. So through the castle section we go. Rainy race, it says, from Dennis. Wow, that is huge. If it is a rainy race, that has just thrown a right spanner in the works. And the championship is hotting up. And then Power Twan in a kick Sauber. Cheers, Magic. So the Sauber driver down towards the line, and it's a 1:38.7 over nearly a second quicker than Deadly, but Deadly did have a bit of a scruffy lap, but still well in the mix to go into Q2. The Alpine of cars just coming out of turn 16 here in sector 3, and then he'll go full throttle from here, and look how close they get to the wall. It's immaculate. And then we go down the DRS straight. That DRS will kick in. It will give them an extra bit of speed to the line. It's a 1:39.6 and it is P3 from the Dutchman. So we do have rain in the race according to the drivers. So that will become a very interesting Grand Prix, let me tell you. So it is Power Twan on top at the moment, and that is probably enough to get him into Q2 pretty safely, I would say. Bradders in the Racing Bull will start his flying lap, so we'll see what he can do. He's had a terrible bad luck, and it goes from bad to worse as he takes off an end plate on his first flying lap. And just as we were going on about Bradders' bad luck, he bangs it into the wall here in Baku. So, who else is going to go on to a lap? I think there is another kick Sauber of Jeffy Boy. He's on an out lap. Hackmore in the McLaren will be next. So we'll see what he is made of around this street circuit. We have a couple of street circuits coming off. We have a break week next week. So there's no race, and then we return for the Marina Bay circuit in Singapore. And then I think it might be Las Vegas after that. So we have like 3 back-to-back street circuits. So we're heading up towards turn 3 for the Papaya. And it doesn't do an Oscar Piastri. And gets through there safely. So the McLaren, you can see the sun just glistening down over this circuit. A very traditional city is Baku. It's sort of that mixture of the old castles and the old buildings, but then you've got the new sort of Azerbaijan section where they started to build buildings and, you know, pour money into the city. So a real mixture. And it's become a very iconic track on the calendar. So in towards turn 16 for the McLaren. And then back onto the throttle. And then he'll just go flat out through here. And he'll burn the rest of that battery. And then the DRS will kick in. And it is just about pure straight line speed from here. And where's he going to put it? He's out on hards, which is unbelievable. So a 140.6 for Hackmore on them hards. Epic OJ in the Red Bull is going to be next to the line. He's out on sauce. He's backed out. So AMS Mirko through the castle section. And how clean was that from the Ferrari? Remember Jonas on his debut here in Azerbaijan, and then you've got Asbil, who was promoted to Tier 1, as well as Deadly. Oh, and a little tap to the wall there for AMS Mirko, who is absolutely flying at the moment, is Mirko. His pace has just gone from strength to strength, and he's been showing week in and week out why he deserves to be at the forefront of this Tier 1 season. So that rear wing will open and he'll get that extra bit of horsepower as he comes down towards the line. And it's a 138.8. He goes up to P2 just behind a Power Twan. Jeffy Boy will be next. His teammate is currently fastest here in Q1 with just under 9 minutes to go. Jeffy Boy will be next to the line and goes P5. Is that going to be enough to get him into Q2? Hackmore will definitely have to go again, but he'll get quicker and quicker on them hards. Super Trubo on an outlap. And then we have Asbil, the American, coming through turn 15. Beautiful. Look how close they go to that wall. They take every single inch of this circuit and take every single millisecond they can out of it. So around turn 18 and 19, down towards turn 20, and then it is pedal to the metal as we go down towards the line for Asbil. It's going to be in the 9s, it's going to be a 1:39.8, and it's P6 just in front of his teammate Super Turbo and Jonas. Let's ride on board with Jonas, and it is a 1:39.1 on his debut race, goes up to P3 in that Red Bull. Super Turbo in the Racing Bull, the sister car, just coming out of turn 2, down towards turn 3 with that DRS enabled. And we do see a couple of yellow flags. That'll be drivers moving out of the way. The drivers need to be extremely careful. You need to have their wits about them to make sure that they're not impeding other drivers. Remember, Joshua Bear does have a qualifying ban. I will just send another invite to Casper. Oh, he's just joined. What are the chances? So, Super Turbo had a good race last week, got a podium in Realistic with a Williams on Wednesday, and he's continuing that. So around turn 16, hard tyre is awful, we know. So he's going to have to come back out, Dennis. So around turn 19, and look how close they get. It's tremendous, it really is. So Super Turbo, flat out, down towards the line we go. On board with the Racing Bull, it's going to be in the 40s. It's a 40.8, and it's only P9 for the Samarese driver. Lewis W in the Alpine has a new teammate of cars. His teammate currently in P5. Where can Lewis put it? He also finished second on the podium in Realistic on Wednesday, so he's definitely on a high. And it's a 140.6 just in front of Hackmore. Reese, the championship challenger, just coming through the castle section. Oh, and he's lost the back end, and that will cost him a little bit of time, but he will potentially still make it through out of Q1 as Epic OJ follows him up the hill through the castle section. The elevation around here is incredible. So Ryan Clemenson coming out of turn 2. The Aston Martins have left it very late again. AMS Casper on an outlap. Bradders, who took his end plate off going in towards turn 1, will finally get to the line, and he goes P4 in that Racing Bull. What about Reese in the Mercedes? He's going to be next. Is he still going to get a decent lap on the board? 5 minutes remaining in Baku, and it is still going to be a really quick lap. It's a 1:39.0, and it's P3 for the Mercedes. Epic OJ will be next in the Red Bull, goes up to P9, and then you have Joshua Bear on that qualifying ban, and Ryan Clemenson in the Aston Martin. B right coming through the castle section, slipping and sliding, just slithering through the underpass. And Ryan Clemenson will be first, though. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him that just needs to be aware of the driver. On a flying lap as he clatters into the wall again at turn 15. But he just needs to get a decent lap. There's going to be some big names that go out here. Remember, only 3 drivers will be eliminated. One of them with a qualifying ban, so only 2 drivers. And that is Bradders that's out. Bradders has crashed it on an in-lap coming through the castle section. That is quite remarkable. Bradders, who was in P4, has crashed it, and he will go out in Q1. Who said 3 drivers? 4 drivers are going out. Ryan Clemenson goes fastest. His teammate B right will be next. Down towards the line. B right only P12. Is that going to be enough to get him through? Casper coming out of turn 2. But incredibly, Bradders. Yeah, no worries, Bradders. That's fine, mate. That'll be your last race if that happens. Leaving your car in AI all race, mate. So Casper in the Williams, coming down towards turn 5 and 6. So unbelievably, the Racing Bull, who was 4th on the grid, has crashed it on an in-lap, and he is now out in Q1. So Super Turbo is still in the pit lane with 3 minutes remaining. What can Casper do in the Williams? Super Turbo and Hackmore are on the brink of elimination. Mirko knows that he's through. So we're coming to the end of this Q1 session. So Super Turbo is back out and onto the racetrack. Casper, the man from Sweden, coming down the DRS straight, down past the pit lane and into the checkered flag, and it is P4 for Casper. Super Turbo and Hackmore will need to improve. Lewis W is now on the brink. Be right is not going to improve, I don't think. Has he fueled up enough to go again? He hasn't. This could be right going out. Wow. Lewis W is going to come out to try to improve. Hackmore is back out on soft compounds. He's already half a second up. Super Turbo is back out. Yellow flags are waving. Super Turbo coming through the castle section. So 2 drivers will be eliminated. Which 2 is it going to be? Lewis W is going to try and find a bit more. Here comes Hackmore down towards turn 16. He's gone purple sector 2. He's 1.5 seconds up. He's absolutely flying here. The Papaya McLaren around turn 18 and 19. Down towards turn 20. And then it is flat out now. Down to the start finish line. And the McLaren of Hackmore will put it P4 in Q1. Lewis W is now eliminated and B Wright is the driver at risk. Bradders, yeah, unfortunately, mate, everybody else has to deal with the same thing and nobody else has took a tyre off around the castle section all day, actually. So it's not an issue that we're aware of. So Super Turbo is on the lap, so is Lewis W, and the championship leader of B Wright is on the verge of being knocked out in Q1 around Baku. That will be music to the ears of Reese in that Mercedes. So Lewis W in the Alpine, Super Turbo in the Racing Bull. It will be the V-Carb that comes through to finish their final lap first. And Deadly is on an outlap, so is Asbil. Asbil is the other driver at risk if Super Turbo and Lewis were to both improve. So Lewis W is 2.5 temps up and he's going to get a tow from his teammate. No, he just moves out the way. Lewis W is putting it all down on the line now as he comes through turn 8, 9 and 10. And he gets it spot on. The Alpine driver, the checkered flag has waved here in Q1. Lewis W will burn the battery. Super Turbo is just in front of him in the Racing Bull. Is he improving? Down towards turn 18 and 19 we go. The V-Cab just flat out burning the empty tank. Burning the rest of that battery, emptying the tank. And he's not, he's backed out, so it's all on Lewis W. The Alpine driver could knock out his McLaren teammate in realistic and the championship leader. Here comes Lewis W, down towards the line we go. Asbil is safe, but one driver that isn't is B Wright, and B Wright is out. No, B Wright is through, wow. Oh my goodness me, he's made it through by a tenth of a second. And Lewis W didn't do it. Asbil is also going to improve, stays P13, but that was a close call for the championship leader on the verge of exiting here in Q1. So there we have it. Ryan Clemenson, fastest. Powertran, Mirko, Hackmore, Casper, and then Reese. I need to put that in. I don't know why Reese's name never comes up. Malum, Jonas, Jeffy Boy, Cars, Famfness, Deadly, Epic OJ, Asbil, B Wright, then Bradders, Lewis W and Super Turbo, and then Joshua Bear. brilliant. There we go. Joshua Barr as a qualifying ban. Yeah, I know. There you go. I tell you, B. Right will thank his lucky stars for that one. Sorry, I've just seen something in the chat. 1 second, let me get it back up. Nathan Alcombe that Tree well pitted while he was half a second in on his time. Not a clue, Dennis. Not a clue. So the Saubers are on the way out. Power Chuan will lead the way. Yeah, I mean, even being half a second up, he wouldn't have got out of Q1. But yeah, I know what he's saying. Unfortunately, that is, and I know off the top of my head because I've read the rule book hundreds and hundreds of times, because I wrote them, and I'm looking at them all the time. We have nothing in the rule book that states a driver cannot pull out of a flying lap. Yeah, Matt, I know what you mean. Luckily, obviously, because I have a load of boys, one of them got FIFA, so I've just, every time I play it, I just put his account as Prime on my PlayStation and play it. Oh, wow. He was very aggressive through turn 1 there, was Power Chuan. And then through turn 2, he's really going at these, isn't he? So I was just reading the chat. Oh, nice, Maggie. I was buzzing when I packed that Ginola the other day, even though it's untradeable. I've been playing No Man's Sky a lot. My brother and my cousin are on at the moment, so as soon as the race is over, I'm going to jump on that for a bit because I'm off work tomorrow. So, Power Chuan down towards the line. It's a 1:39.1. He was fastest for a while in Q1. Here comes Jeffy Boy, his teammate, to the line. And it's a 1:39.87 slower than his Sauber foe. So what about McLaren? Casper, a 1:38.6 goes fastest. And Alsville, a 1:40.2. Yeah, my G, I bought it about 2 weeks ago and it's bloody incredible. It's brilliant. The whole aspect of the game, the size of it, everything you can do on it, the mining and all the elements being the real elements and stuff like that. I just think it's brilliant. Deadly up to P3 at 139, 115 and Power Twan at 139, 113. That is how close it is here. And then we have a Ferrari of Mirko to the line. Goes P2 at 138.8 for the Scuderia. The McLaren of Hackmore is on an outlap. Jonas on his debut here in Q2. He's made it through the first part of qualifying. And then down towards turn 15. Oh, and he goes a little deep. Just glides off that wall. Yeah, Mad G, it's actually, I don't play a lot of games, I'm going to be honest. I spend a lot of time doing F1 stuff in the background, not actually playing it. So I don't get to play many games. I play a little bit of FIFA, I've had like 4 matches. But when I downloaded No Man's Sky like 2 weeks ago, I played it like 3 days non-stop straight. It's a really good game. Jonas on 139.2. It's basically like a steroided up version of Minecraft, you know what I mean? And I just love the fact that there's so many planets and universes and everything you can go to, but you can't just fly to them. You've got to get the minerals, you've got to get the stuff to do it, and you've got to mine it and craft it and to get anywhere, to even run your ship or anything like that, or even use your gun or your life. And yeah, it's a really, really good game. And the fact that you can trade, buy and sell on the actual market and stuff like that with your minerals. So, Hackmore down towards turn 16 we go. He's not messing around with the hard tyres this time. 8.5 minutes to go. And the Belgian driver, what about B. Wright? He had an awful, torrid Q1 session on the brink of elimination, but Lewis didn't beat him. So Hackmore to the line, goes P6 or 139.4. Had Lewis have found another 2 attempts on his lap, B. Wright would not be in Q2. So B. Wright in the Aston Martin, Epic OJ in the Red Bull has gone purple sector 2 as the Alpine driver just heels off to the left and lets him through, and then around turn 19 and into 20 for Epic OJ in the Red Bull. Epic OJ now flat out towards the line. Is it going to be in the 38s? It is going to be a 138.847. B. Wright and Famfinus. Not much to separate them on track. Ryan Clementon with a 138.3 goes fastest again. Here comes Famfinus to the line. Only P9 for Famfinus, a 139.6. B. Wright to the line, P13. And it just does not look like B. Wright has the pace this evening. Like he's way off the pace at the moment. There's something going on with the Aston Martin driver. And it is very, very unusual to see B. Wright struggling like this. Very Hamilton-esque in that Ferrari. And B. Wright in the Aston Martin just not finding the rhythm at all. Reese in the Mercedes will be enjoying the sounds of that. Out of turn 4 we go. And the Mercedes, who is 33 points behind B. Wright in the championship, will be bidding to take some huge points away from B. Wright before the break. And then we will be back in Singapore after the break. So through the castle section for Reese. And keeps it nice and clean. It was really quick through the castle section. Down towards turn 15. He's got the capabilities, Reese, to do something brilliant here. He is the current Tier 1 world champion. Be Right, who is 33 points in front of him in the championship, is a 3-time world champion. Be Right. And Reese is trying to hunt him down in terms of accolades. And one way to do it is to get some points off him this evening. Reese to the line. It's a 1:39.7. It's only P10. 5 minutes to go. Jeffy Boy is on his way back out. Asbill and Cars are still in the pit lane. Be Right is back in the pits to talk to the engineers, to talk to the mechanics and find a solution to his pace. He's around a second off getting through. So 5 minutes remaining. Power Twan in the kick. Sauber has gone purple sector 2. He's on another lap. So the kick Sauber driver flat out. And he's going to come up towards the line. Where's he going to put it? And he goes fastest, a 1:38.0. And Power Twan looking at Pacey Twan. Reese in the Mercedes on an in-lap. Jeffy Boy just starts his flying lap, and he'll have his teammate to give him a little bit of a tow, potentially. Yeah, I think he's going to slow down, and he's going to give him a big tow up towards turn 3. Nicely done, nicely worked from both Sauber drivers. A huge slipstream in towards turn 3, peels off, lets him by, and that will do him the world of good for Jeffy Boy to try and get the extra bit out of that Sauber car and get him into Q2. And he's half a second up. That was brilliant. That was huge in terms of helping out. But that means that Reese is on the brink. Be Right is on the brink as well. Reese is only just on his way in the pit lane with 3.5 minutes to go. Be Right potentially on his way out shortly. Jeffy Boy coming through turn 13 and 14. Ryan Clemenson will participate no longer. Intermediates for the race according to Dennis. That will spice things up. I've got a feeling Be Right might be compromising pacing qualifying for pacing the race if he knows it's going to be a wet race. But that's the only logic thinking I can put in my brain about why his pace is so far off. So Jeffy Boy out of turn 20 down towards the line. He got a massive helping hand from his teammate who currently sits on the top, and he goes up to P7. So Cars in the Alpine is now on a lap. You've got Asbill, Be Right, Reese and Fanfness all on out laps. They are all on the brink of going out in Q2. Some huge names. Cars is going to have to try and find something special. Cars has backed out. He's going to have to build up that battery and go again. All the other drivers on out laps. Bear with me guys, sorry. So 30 seconds of Q2 remaining. Reese is on a lap. Vampness is on a lap. So is Cars, Asbel and B Right. Hackmore and Jonas also trying to improve. Casper has invalidated it, so he's not going to find anything extra. And look at this, Mirko is on an outlap waiting for his teammate to give him a tow. But the game has took control of his car. He's not going to be able to help him. He was waiting to give him a tow, but because he wasn't on a flying lap, it basically took control of his car. Here comes B Right. Is he finding that championship pace that he's always brought? The Aston Martin flat out now, emptying the tank. Is B Right gonna get through to Q2? Down towards the line we go, and the Aston Martin driver is in P9. He's only just through. Is that enough? Here comes Asbel. Asbel goes P6. B Right is on the brink of elimination. Reese is through and up to P4. B Right, the three-time world champion, is out here in Baku. Jonas, the Ferrari of Fanfordus, goes P7. Jonas currently in the bottom 5. And the Red Bull driver has the Alpine and the McLaren chasing him. Jonas goes up to P5. Hackmore and Cars. Cars doesn't improve. Hackmore goes P6. Asbel is out. Jeffy Boy makes it through. But the three-time world champion, the championship leader, is out in Q2 here in Azerbaijan. So, Power Twan is the fastest in Q2. Then comes Casper, Ryan Clemenson and Reese in P4. Then comes Jonas in P5, Hackmore P6, Epic OJ P7, Mirko P8, Fanfordus P9 and Deadly in P10. Jeffy Boy, Asbel, B Right and Cars all go out in Q2. What are you fuming about, Reese? What's happened? Ah, that's class, Mad G. Sorry guys, my missus just made an absolutely banging curry and trying to eat it before the race starts. So everybody out of the pit lane barring Reese. Right, you now have my full attention. So Casper is on a lap in the Williams. So out of turn 15 down towards turn 16. It's anybody's guess who's going to be on pole position. But seeing the pace of B right, I expect to see some different strategies in the race. So Casper a 1:38.2, and then Powertran takes it right back off him with a 1:38.1. So he's currently on provisional pole. Next will be Ryan Clemenson, and he's looked absolutely rapid as of late. So Ryan Clemenson in the Aston Martin. DRS wide open, down towards line. Is he going to take pole again? He doesn't. P3, a 1:38.3, separated by 2 tenths. The Ferrari of Mirko sets his time a 1:38.4. This is so close. The Deadly, promoted to Tier 1, will set his lap a 1:39.3. And he won't be happy with that one. Fanfurness to the line, a 1:38.7, P5, and behind his teammate, the McLaren of Hackmore. And it's only P5, a 1:38.5. It is the smallest of margins. So down to the line for Jonas, and it is P5, a 1:38.4. Reese and Epic OJ. Epic OJ will be next to the line. And it is a 1:38.5 as well. Reese will be next. Will he go provisional pole? He won't. P3, a 1:38.2, and behind Casper and Powertran. It is 4 tenths of a second. Separate first to 8th. Any improvement here could boost you up the grid significantly. This is brilliant to see. So every driver on track, every driver in Q3 is set a lap now. So they've got their bankers in. The next question is, who has the pace to take pole position? At the moment it's Powertran. He has shown that he has got the capabilities to take pole position throughout this qualifying so far. So Hackmore heels off into the pit lane. So remember guys, if you are looking for a setup, you can get one from Sim Racing Setups. You can use the link down below or use the reference code F7R in when you check out. It's either you get 5% off if you use code F7R, and then we also get 5%, I think it is, as a league through every purchase. But if you are looking for some decent setups, you can use that. If you use code F7R when you are checking out with Fanatec, you don't get a discount, but we do get 5% back, which all goes to leagues, funding trophies, funding the monthly subscriptions. I mean, the league on its own costs £70 a month just to run. It doesn't need to cost that much, but I want it to be one of the best leagues out there. I want it to be one of the best communities out there for you guys. So it's worth it. It's my hobby, and it's your guys' hobbies as well, so it's worth it. So yeah, you can purchase from Fanatec or Sim Racing Setups through any of the links down below. And it all goes to helping the league, and also yourself if you want some decent setups or some decent sim racing gear. And so the Haas driver is the first out for their final runs. If you have got a bit of money to spend on a decent setup, I would recommend looking at Rock Solid Rigs as well. They are brilliant. They're a completely different aspect to what sim racing setups and to what Fanatec do. Sorry, they make all handmade wooden sim rigs. They're brilliant. So, and then obviously F1 Neon Tracks. I will pop a link down below for them, but they do really good neon tracks. So like Azerbaijan, you can order one from them and it's all neon behind you, and it has an actual layout of the track and it shows you the DRS zones. They're really, really good. And I know the guy that makes them. It's not like a massive company or anything, it's just a guy on his own, you know. Well, he's not on his own now, but and we are coming up to our 5th year anniversary in October. It will be 5 years since the league started. 5 years have flown by. I've seen drivers come and go, and I tell you, the people that I've seen over the years, I've met some incredible human beings. I've watched kids grow, I've watched adults grow in a way as well. I've watched friendships develop. I've watched drivers improve and go on to bigger and better things. So yeah, I've been really fortunate to have such an amazing community behind us here in F7. So half a second up is Deadly. This is going to put him in the 128s. He's right there and thereabouts here, Deadly. Oh, and a little snap there, and that might have cost him as he heads towards the castle section. He does have Reese on a lap already. He's not messing around, he's straight out. But there is actually a lot of traffic in Reese's way. Oh, and Deadly just collides with the wall ever so slightly. So out of turn 16 we go. The Haas driver leaving nothing on the table here as we come around to 20. He is flat out. And the two Ferraris are going to go around the track together. But here comes Deadly, promoted to tier 1. And for very good reason. He's up to P4. Reese in the Mercedes will be next. He's not hit any of that traffic. In towards turn 15. And then slightly downhill towards turn 16. And then back onto the throttle. So crisp. So clean. He is a phenomenal driver, and he's showing exactly why. Around turn 19 and 20, and then it is just a long straight, feels like an eternity as Reese heads to the line. It's a 138.1, and he's missed pole position. by 1/1000th of a second. A 1:38.132, a 1:38.133 between Power Twan and Reese at the end of Q3. So we move on to the other drivers. The Ferraris will be next. Mirko will be first, and his teammate of Fanfness behind him, who will probably get a huge tow down towards the line. He does hit the wall. That will be costly. Fanfness follows him through. Is he going to get a tow? He feels like he's just a little bit too far behind. Ryan Clemenson is in the sevens. A 1:37.7 from the Aston Martin driver. That is incredible. Mirko is improving, 1.5 tenths up. That is going to put him around Casper, around P4. Here comes the Scuderia, goes P4. What about Fanfness? He goes P8. Then we have a Red Bull of Jonas and Epic OJ. Epic OJ to the line, goes P6. Hackmore in the McLaren. Here comes Jonas in the Red Bull in his debut race. Casper goes P2. Jonas is up to P6. Hackmore is not improving. He will start P10. So Ryan Clemenson takes pole position here in Baku. So that is it for Q3. So we have a Power Twan on pole position. Ryan Clemenson will start alongside him on the front row of this grid. Casper on the second row of the grid in P3. And then Reese alongside him, bidding for championship points, vital championship points in P4. On the third row grid, Mirko in P5 with Jonas on his debut in P6. On the fourth row of the grid, it's Epic OJ in P7, and alongside him, the newly promoted driver of Deadly in P8. On the fifth row of the grid, it's Fanfness in the Ferrari in P9, and the Belgian driver of Hackmore in the McLaren. Complete your top 10 for today's Grand Prix. Would you look at the state of that? What is that? What is that? My goodness me. Han Solo, please don't do me like that. I hope not. Yeah, be on. Nearly wets, I like that. Nearly wets. The conditions have to be absolutely crazy for it to be wets around here, around any track. So, let's have a look at tyres quickly. Oh, Ryan Clemenson, Deadly, and B. Wright have gone for wet compounds, and everybody else has started on intermediates. Well, that is a huge gamble, because when we seen the race in realistic, everybody was on intermediates and they were faster than the wets. So I'm surprised to see 3 drivers go for full wets. Oh, this is going to be crazy down towards turn 1. I mean, the weather is really bad, but is it full wets? Yeah, you did, Bjorn. You did a great job, mate. So, all the drivers line up. Here we go. Trying to get some heat into them tyres. So here we go for the race. This is it for Tier 1 here in Azerbaijan, powered by Sim Racing Setups. And it is lights out and away we go. The Sauber got a tremendous start and he's still in the lead of the Grand Prix. He cuts off the Aston Martin, who goes up the inside and he tries to squeeze through. Casper and Reese are right on his tail as they all bomb it down towards turn 2 in the pouring rain. The drivers trying to pull them cars to a stop to avoid colliding with anybody. B right in the Aston Martin, the championship leader is there. Reese is through on Merkel, the Ferrari driver. Nothing he can do as Reese gets back up to P4. Here comes Deadly in the house trying to pull the car to a stop before he gets into the chicane at turn 3. Lewis W and Super Turbo fighting it. That is Ryan Clements going into the lead of the Grand Prix, going side by side with the Kick Sauber. The Aston Martin on them full wets, the Sauber on the intermediates. Who has got the better grip here in the pouring rain? And the Aston Martin goes over the apex. Deadly is up 3 places. He's on the wets, remember. And that is Hackmore in the McLaren and B right in the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin driver will go later on the brakes. Hackmore smashes into the back of the Ferrari. Hackmore turns in and he's down to P12. Jonas. And that is B right that's going up the inside of Jonas in the Red Bull. Into the castle section we go. Jonas being swallowed up. And Hackmore and Jonas, the Red Bull and the McLaren going wheel to wheel. That is the Ferrari into the wall. That is Mirko. Oh my goodness me. Jeffy Boy is up 5 places in that Kick Sauber. Wow, that is a VSC. It's a VSC. What has happened here? The rain continues to fall. And let me have a look at the system. So front wing damage for Power Twan and Casper. Front wing damage for Epic OJ. And FLR for Jonas. I'm not sure what that means. So the VSC is out. He's 1.2 in front of Power Twan. And B right is up to P9. Jeffy Boy's up to P5. P6, sorry. Deadly is up to P5. And the light will go green shortly. What about... And there's two drivers in the pit lane. That's Mirko and Asbil into the pit lane, getting new front wings. They are indeed. And they managed to pit under the VSC. Bradders on the back of Hackmore in that McLaren. When is the flag going to go green? And Asbil picks up a drive through. That must have been when he was exiting the pit lane. And Powertran got a jump on Ryan Clemenson. He's through. Oh, they're nearly off the track. Powertran is nearly out. Ryan Clemenson is trying to come back at him on different strategies. And Powertran looks like he's missing an end plate. He is, and so is Casper. And now Reese has got easy pickings here if he can manage it. Through the castle section we go in the pouring rain. You can barely see anything behind. That is Deadly that just tags Reese on the rear wing, and that is Casper getting all squirrely and losing the rears. Here comes Deadly on the inside of Reese. Oh, they've collided. Reese is into the wall. So is Deadly. Oh, did Deadly get damaged? Did Reese get damaged? Jeffy Boy is up to P4. This is quite incredible. So, Reese did get front wing damage. Fanfness, Epic OJ, B right. Epic OJ struggling on them intermediates. Is it full wet tyres? Only 3 drivers opted to go for the full wets, but it looks like that might be the right call. Fanfness is through on Deadly, and now he chases down the McLaren of Reese in front. Powertran is still your race leader, and that is Epic OJ, that is Deadly going into the pit lane. Here comes the McLaren of Hackmore on B right. B right has to let the McLaren through, concede position. He's got to be patient here. Bradders is out in the pit lane. And Jonas in the Red Bull just behind them. Epic OJ, Fanfness. Remember Reese with that front wing damage. You've got Powertran, you've got Casper, you've got Reese, you've got Epic OJ, all with damage, including Jonas as well. Is Ryan Clemenson picking up the pace to Powertran in front. And that is Super Turbo that is through on cars, wheel to wheel, got the Racing Bull and the Alpine. They give each other the space, very respectful on track as they head in towards turn 5 and 6, the left and right hander. But the rain is very unforgiving here, it is not giving up. Mirko had a crash and he's at the back of the grid. Hopefully he can come back in this race. Brad has retired in the pit lane again. I think that's pretty much every race now. So Reese still in front of Fanfness, Epic OJ, Hackmore and B right. Remember B right on them wet compound tyres. And Ryan Clemenson still not able to get past Powertran yet. Powertran with slight front wing damage. Jeffy Boy up 7 places into P4, and he's got a 4-second gap to Reese. And because he's got damage, he's essentially holding up the pack and letting everybody in front, the 4 drivers in front, get away. So these drivers need to navigate around that Mercedes as quickly as possible. Now here comes Fanfness and Epic OJ. They're going to get the better exit because Reese has got that front wing damage. Here comes the Ferrari of Fanfness into the slipstream of Reese. No DRS. He's going to move over to the left-hand side. Hackmore is through on Dennis. The Ferrari on the Mercedes in the pouring rain. The Mercedes is starting to come back with that speed. Down in towards turn 1. The Scuderia goes up the inside. And he will just about make it on the Mercedes. Can Reese get his foot down even with front wing damage? He's challenging him. He's not letting him through this easily. The Ferrari and the Mercedes, once again, nothing to separate them. And Hackmore is looking for a way through. Fanfness has managed to get P5 off the Mercedes. And Reese might have to just slot in behind him. You can see the Ferrari just edging ahead. Down in towards turn 3 we go. Can they get the cars to a stop? They can. And still, wheel to wheel. This is remarkable. The Ferrari and the Mercedes once again go through turn 4 with not an inch between the pair of them. So, Pamphilus and Rees. And Rees eventually concedes position to the Ferrari. That is Hackmore and Epic OJ. Hackmore picks up a time penalty. Epic OJ is through. And that will be a costly penalty for Hackmore come the end of this race. Through the castle section we go. They are now 7.5 seconds behind the front four. Wow, everybody is in a DRS train from Rees all the way down to P14 to Josh. They are all locked in a DRS train because Rees is not able to keep up with the pack. And everybody is having to get the hard way around. It's going all right, actually, Kev. Here comes Epic OJ. Remember, he will get the better exit on Rees. And he's all over him like a rash. Powertran setting fastest lap again. Here comes Epic OJ and Hackmore. Look how quick Hackmore is. They're going to go 3 wide down the pit straight. And the Mercedes of Rees is going to lose the position. Jonas is through on B right. And B right peels off into the pit lane. B right has pitted. Wow. Is he going on to intermediates? Epic OJ and Hackmore are through on Rees. Now Jonas will be next. Epic OJ goes up the inside. They collide. And Epic OJ and Hackmore collide. And then Rees spins Epic OJ around. And that is the Red Bull down to P13. Here comes Jonas on the inside of the AMG driver. And they do leave each other the space. But this is how you go racing in the rain. Wow. So Ryan Clemenson is still on the back. And did B right pit for inters? He did. So B right pitted for intermediates. So that will be very costly. Yellow flag. Safety car. Epic OJ is out and there's a safety car. Just as B right has pitted for intermediates, there is a safety car. And that might have just ended B right's strategy. He might still be able to get in front of a couple of these drivers, but that gives Rees an opportunity to pit and repair that front wing. Safety car. Epic OJ crashes. Should B right have stayed out a little bit longer. So he is going to go into the pit lane to repair that front wing. Ryan Clemenson is into the pits, but there's a load of drivers that have stayed out. And the front four will be absolutely fuming about this because they will have lost so many positions. So Rees is getting that front wing changed. Has he got a time penalty as well? No, he was just getting the front wing changed. And B right is coming down the straight. He could potentially come out in front of his championship rival here. This is absolutely huge. Rees is on his way out of the pit lane. Here comes B right. And the two championship contenders are going to be side by side with each other on the safety car restart in P13 and P14. This is not how the drivers thought this race was going to go. So some of the drivers have stayed out. Front wing damage for Powertran and Casper still, and Jonas as well. Well, yeah, what an intriguing race so far. So the two Saubers in the top three. And you have to remember, the front four drivers were like 9 seconds clear when that safety car came out. This has practically ruined their race. I'm not even sure where Epic OJ crashed. But looking at the spin of Epic OJ, the first spin where I think he collided with, did he collide with a McLaren of Dennis, and then Reese in the Mercedes hit the back of him and spun him around, and then he goes and crashes into the wall. So, and then that was it for Epic OJ, and now he's had to pit Reese with that front wing damage, and he's now in P13 with his championship rival just behind him in P14. So not how these two rivals expected the race to go here in Baku. Alright, Nimble. Well, they are going to group all the drivers back up. Asbill has a chance of catching right back up as well. Brad has retired in the pit lane. I'm sure that's like his 7th retirement in the pit lane this season. Yeah, I've got a feeling Asbill might be able to catch up if the safety car stays out for another lap. Remember, Super Truba has a 3-second time penalty, and so does Hackmore. That'll cost them at the end with 19 laps remaining. Ah, well done, Kev. Well, we know how tough Baku is in the dry, never mind in the wet, so these drivers are doing a really good job. Is the safety car going to stay out, and is Asbill going to be able to catch up in his first race as a full-time Tier 1 driver? Yeah, Powertron has a missing end plate, Bjorn. So I think the safety car is going to stay out for another lap. I think the front two have damage. According to my system, Powertwan, Casper, Jonas all have damage. Reese had damage and a few others, but they went in the pits and fixed it. Come on, Asbill. Ah, good on him, Nimble. That's why we need the brakes sometimes. So, Casper in at the Williams. So we know that Powertwan has a missing end plate. Does Casper have a missing end plate as well, or is it just minor damage? No, he also has a missing end plate. So Jeffy is in prime position here. So the safety car will definitely be in at the end of this lap. Will the intermediates get them to the end of the race from here? Wait, is the rain stopping? The rain is getting very light here now. Yeah, no worries, Kev. Have a good day, mate. We've not got a race next weekend, but we'll be back to Singapore. So, Asbill has caught up. Good on him. So, I expect a little bit of carnage now again. Safety car is in this lap. We are going to go racing once more. You can see the dry line starting to form. And the rain has got considerably lighter throughout the first 8 laps. So it is Power Twan that will get us back underway. And when does he go? He's not going yet. The Williams is all over him. He's not giving him any breathing space, and off he goes. Backs him up and goes. Here comes Ryan Clemenson on Fanfurness. They are all grouping up. Lewis W, Super Turbo cars. His car's going to go down the inside, the Alpine driver. He does, and here comes Ryan Clemenson on Fanfurness. Out of turn 1, down towards turn 2. Ryan Clemenson backs out, and then you have Jonas in the Red Bull. All over the back of him, Super Turbo. Joshua Bear has Billy's through on deadliest round. Be right on the back of Reese's championship rival as they head up towards turn 3. Mirko in front, Joshua Bear, Super Turbo and Lewis W, the Racing Bull and the Alpine. And they literally touching wheels as they go through, and Hackmore is in front of Joshua Bear. Reese trying to make a move on Mirko, and the Ferrari will defend the position. He does, he goes a little bit deep, and Reese is trying the old switchback on the Scuderia, who has a little snap. Has that opened up the door for the Mercedes? They go side by side, and the Ferrari and the Mercedes, nothing to separate them, the wheel to wheel, and that is great racing. The Ferrari not able to get through, and through the castle section go the Mercedes and the Ferrari, and that could have ended in tears. 1.1 clear is Power Twan on Casper at the moment, and Power Twan will want to try and get away as quickly as possible, knowing that Casper has wing damage as well. Over turn 15, down the hill towards turn 16 once more. Hackmore in P10, Joshua Bear in P11, Mirko in P12, then comes Reese in P13 and P Wright in P14. The championship contenders not where they want to be. Casper is 1.3 behind Power Twan. Hackmore chasing down the 2 Alpines of Cars and Lewis W. Can Reese make a move on Mirko this time around as they come down the pit straight? And Mirko, a Mercedes in front, a Mercedes behind, as he comes off to the left hand side and is looking for a way through. But first of all, Mirko has got to try and get through on Joshua Bear. That is Hackmore through on Cars, and the Belgian driver on the Dutchman makes that overtake very nicely. And that is Cars and Hackmore going for round 2 as we head in towards turn 3. Cars does get ahead of Hackmore, and the Alpine is back in front, and then Joshua Bear and Mirko collide. Oh my god, Joshua Bear and Mirko have collided, and the Mercedes and the Ferrari, not the ones we thought it was going to be, have had a coming together, and the Mercedes back down the inside of the Scuderia. They are locking horns as they come out of turn 6. Who has got the better exit? The Ferrari driver just edges his nose ahead, but that is not going to stop. Oh, it's Reese. It's Reese and Mirko. Into the castle section we go. Oh, they've collided. Reese and Mirko have collided. Mirko's gone into the wall and he has damage and he's round. So there is another collision there, and not what we wanted to see. Joshua Bear has lagged out. How's Mirko not out? Not a clue beyond, because damage is on standard. That is a VSC on lap 10. Wow. No, damage is on standard. So Joshua Bear has lagged out. And there'll be no overtaking whilst the VSC's out. Yeah, beyond. He's very lucky to still be in the race there, Mirko. So the flag goes green, and that is B. Riley's from Reese. He got a better exit. And up the inside of turn 1, Reese is still going for it, but the Aston Martin, and oh, wow! Reese put his wheel right on the rear of the Aston Martin then, and that was lucky that B. Wright was able to control that car, but Reese is down to P13, and B. Wright will chase down his teammate of Joshua Bear, who is back in the lobby. But now B. Wright is where he does not want to be, in a Mercedes sandwich. So cars in the Alpine is just ahead of them. So the championship rivals going toe to toe once more. So out of turn 6, and B. Wright just able to get away. And Joshua Bear is now back in his car, and he did lag a little bit there. Through the castle section we go. And then remember, there's no DRS, the rain is still coming down. Although it's a lot lighter than it was at the start of the Grand Prix. And then you have Reese behind his championship rival in towards... Oh, and he's collided with him. Oh, and he's just escaped going into the wall there. As he tried to hit the brake pedal and nearly smashes into the back of the Aston Martin. And B. Wright got a better exit out of turn 16. And now setting his sights is Joshua Bear. Powertran sets another fastest lap. And now Reese is getting closer and closer to the Aston Martin in front. And that is Hackmore that is through on Lewis. The McLaren back through on the Alpine. And that is Powertran in the kick salver that is round. He's hit the wall. Casper is now your race leader. Unbelievable. Jeffy Boy is in P2. Fanfordus is in P3. Then Ryan Clemenson, Jonas, Powertran, Super Tuber, Hackmore, Lewis, Cars, Joshua Bear, B. Wright, and then Reese. And here comes Deadly on Asbill. Asbill just able to get the overtake, get the brake, and Reese goes late on the brakes again. Smashes into the Aston Martin. It is getting very spicy between them, and Reese has collided with the Aston again. Stuck his nose up the inside. And there is going to be bloodshed at the end of this race. And I tell you, it is going to be a feisty one. As Reese is just trying to find a way through on the Aston Martin. And at the moment, he's not able to bridge the gap. What about Ryan Clemenson? 8 attempts off Fanfordus. And this is for a podium now. And these drivers at the front of this race will be buzzing about the position that they're in, knowing that they've got so many good drivers behind them, especially at the back. And that was Asbill and Deadly, I think. Asbill up to P14. And that is Jeffy Boy on the back of Casper. Remember, Casper has a missing end plate. Jeffy needs to capitalise on that as soon as he possibly can. Down the pit straight we go. Is that compromising Casper's straight line speed? Jeffy Boy moves over to the right hand side, down towards turn 1. The Sauber is through. The Williams goes later on the brakes, side by side once more. But Casper, even with front wing damage, is not giving up the race lead. In towards turn 2 we go. The Williams goes deep, but he stays ahead. Reese is back through on B. Wright, the 2 championship contenders again. Wow, so Reese is finally through on his teammate. Are we going to see team orders in that Mercedes garage? We are, look at that. So Joshua Bear is moving over to let his teammate through. And then he'll cut back in front of the Aston Martin driver. And you can see Joshua Bear trying to slam on the brakes now. He needs to be careful. And Reese, that's the advantage of having your teammate right in front of you when you're at the back of the grid. He's now into clean air, but he is 5 seconds behind cars. And they are all starting to pile up behind Joshua Bear. Who's going to get the better exit? So through towards the castle section. As they go slightly uphill. So Joshua Bear doing a good job. Reese already 1.6 clear. Here comes Deadly in the Haas, and Deadly will be patient at this point in the race, as we are halfway through the Grand Prix, still 13 laps to go. And Joshua Bear has his teammate's rival round his tail. That is Hackmore, that is through on Super Turbo, the Racing Bull being overtaken by the McLaren, and Power Twan gets through on Jonas into turn 1 as well. What about B-Rat? Is he able to get through? He's not. Deadly is through. They've got more straight line speed. Here comes Deadly on Joshua Bear to the left-hand side of the Mercedes in towards turn 1. That is where all the action is happening. And that is the Aston Martin that nearly loses it. How did he manage to keep hold of that? So we go back on board with the leaders. Jeffy Boy needs to start to pull away, knowing that Casper has front wing damage. So Casper, Fanfinus, Ryan Clemenson, Power Twan and Jonas all separated by less than a second in intervals as they come up through the castle section. And Reese only 3.4 behind cars, so he is bridging that gap on every lap. It's just been one of them races, hasn't it, where you just don't know what's going to happen next. And Jeffy Boy is now a second clear of Casper. And what about B-Rat and Joshua Bear? He's only 2 tenths behind him. The Mercedes driver in towards turn 15. And here comes B-Rat in the Aston Martin, and the Joshua moving over to the left-hand side. The Aston Martin is going to get through on the Mercedes, and he is through. Joshua Bear down to P14. He did everything possible he could do to keep the Aston Martin behind him, but he finally gets through, does B-Rat. Is he able to keep it ahead though? We know he's struggled with straight line speed. Here comes Joshua Bear in the Mercedes to go back through on the Aston Martin, and B-Rat just does not have the straight line speed to stay ahead. Wow. So in towards turn 1, Joshua Bear doing a Sergio Perez-esque job here. I just hope that he keeps it just as clean as Sergio Perez did. So out of turn 2, and B-Rat will have to try again. Reese, 3 seconds, 2 cars. Hackmore on Jonas around the outside, nearly hits the side pod. Jonas leaves in the space, and that is phenomenal racing. 2 tenths is the gap again between B-Rat and Joshua Bear, and the gap is 3.4 seconds to Deadly in front now. So Joshua doing exactly what his teammate wanted and holding the championship leader up as hostage at the back of this grid. As we go in towards the castle section. And up the hill to turn 12. And the problem is B-Rat's straight line speed is really killing him in this race. So he's not able to make up any positive moves. So in towards turn 15, down the hill towards turn 16. And this is where he needs to get a better exit, the Aston Martin driver, and he does. He's quicker out the corners, but the straight line speed is just not there for B-Rat. And there we go again. Joshua Bear gets his foot down and he starts to pull away once more. Can B-Rat use the slipstream though? And he is closing. He is closing on the Mercedes. He's going to move over to the outside line. He's going to go for the move around the outside. And Joshua Bear is behind. B-Rat is through. He managed to get the move done. It took a lot, and I mean a lot, of race IQ there from B-Rat, because Joshua Bear was doing everything he could to keep B-Rat behind, and that goes to show what a brilliant driver that Aston Martin is. Same goes for the championship leader, whose brilliant teamwork has managed to give him a gap that he needed. The rain has stopped here in Baku. With 10 laps remaining, the rain has evaporated. So, Jeffy Boy leads to Casper, to Fanfinus, to Ryan Clemenson and Powertwan. And you can see the difference in pace now. Be right 1.6 in front of Joshua Bear. So you can see how much that was holding him up. The thing is, that's going to make Be Right think about strategy. If he pits and it's going to put him behind Joshua Bear again, he's not going to do it. He needs to think about strategy. And this is fantastic news for Reese to see his teammate doing him an absolute solid job there. And he has put him 7 seconds in front of Be Right. He's only in P11, but it's still a lot further ahead than Be Right. The track does look dry, Mad G. The rain has stopped. And that is Powertwan and Ryan Clemenson already into the pit lane. Remember, Powertwan was driving with a damaged front wing. Super Tuber into the pits. So is Cars. Reese also into the pit lane. The Mercedes driver. Be Right is heading into the pit lane. Joshua Bear will double stack with his teammate. So Joshua Bear and Aspel, every single driver into the pits for them dry compounds. The yellow flags are waving. A couple of the drivers didn't get to pit. Jeffy Boy, Casper, Fanfinus. Could they throw away a podium due to their strategy here? Oh, Be Right struggling on the exit of the pit lane. Wow, this is going to turn into a great ending to this Grand Prix. So when will DRS be activated? Did Casper get his front wing changed? He didn't. He didn't get his front wing changed. Oh, he's not pitted yet. Yeah, he's not pitted. So they are still out on intermediates. They could be throwing away seconds after seconds here. And they could all find themselves, after doing an amazing job to be out in the lead of this Grand Prix, they could throw it all away. And that means Powertwan could essentially be the race leader. So Reese is on the back of Cars, Fanfinus on the back of Casper. Here comes the Ferrari on the Williams, but surely they're going to go into the pits. They are. And Jeffy Boy is staying out. Jeffy Boy is staying out. Surely he's throwing away the race victory here. Casper is into the pit lane. Hackmore stays out as well. Powertwan is not gaining. Wow. So some of the more of the drivers coming for mediums. But it's not the right tyre yet, and you can see Reese in P12, Be Right in P13. So where will the drivers come out? The yellow flag. I don't know who that's for. There's a Ferrari at the back of Mirko. So it is definitely not medium compounds yet, as Mirko is finding out the hard way. DRS enabled. There we go. Ryan Clemenson is through on Lewis W, even without the DRS. And the Aston Martin driver is up to P7. Reese did get through on Cars, and he is up to P11. Mirko retires in the pit lane. So Mirko, who started right at the front of this Grand Prix, finds himself out. Eight laps remaining and all to play for. DRS is now enabled, so we're going to start seeing them overtakes coming back. Jeffy Boy is into the pit lane, and so is Hackmore. They are coming off them intermediates. Where will they come out in comparison to Fanfinus, who is just coming down the straight now? And I tell you what, Jeffy Boy might be overtaken here by Fanfinus. He's still in the pit lane. He's on his way out. This is going to be close. Hackmore, Jeffy Boy is going to be on fresher tyres. He comes out. Fanfinus is there. But Jeffy Boy has stayed in front of Fanfinus. Reese, that's the fastest lap of the race. Power Twan is through on Jonas. Up to P4. Lewis W on Ryan Clemenson with that DRS enabled. Super Turbo is there. Deadly. Reese all over the back of the house of Deadly. And the Mercedes will have that DRS on the Haas driver. Is he going to go for the late lunge? Not this time around, he's not. Yeah, catching is one thing, passing is another. You're absolutely right. Ryan Clemenson and Lewis W have had multiple rounds of racing between them as Ryan Clemenson goes deep, and that is Lewis W with a switchback. Lewis W in the Alpine with the old switcheroo, and that is brilliant. Can he get his nose ahead before we get into the castle section? He can, and Lewis W gets the job done. Wow, what racing we have here. There goes Deadly on Super Turbo and Reese as well. And Super Turbo is down to P11. Reese is up to P10. Oh, he lagged out. Oh, he spun it. Reese has spun it. He's into the wall. What has happened? Reese is into the wall with a missing end plate. The championship contender, who is in prime position to take points away from the championship leader, has crashed it at turn 15. What more drama could this race bring? My goodness me. So he is going to obviously stay out. But that is massive. Fanfinus is still chasing down Jeffy Boy. So, Lewis W. Reese is still staying with Super Turbo, but Super Turbo did get back through. What about Cars? And B Wright knows that he's only 6 seconds behind Reese with 6 laps to go. It is Jeffy Boy that is your race leader. For Jeffy's sake, I really hope he gets this race win. He really deserves it. Come on, Jeffy. And now Reese is starting to fall away from Super Turbo. If he can stay within that DRS, it might not be that costly, but he'll definitely be feeling the effects of that car. You can see B Wright already catching up. So Fanfinus, he'll have that DRS. Hackmore sets the fastest lap. He's 2 seconds behind, but he does have a 3-second time penalty. And here he goes, 0.3 of a second. There's nothing wrong with Casper. He just pitted off his intermediates and fixed his front wing. And there goes Reese on Super Turbo. So even with that broken front wing, he gets the DRS and he's able to get through on the Racing Bull. Great racing from a driver that's got significant wing damage. Fanfinus not able to get past Jeffy Boy. It is really all to play for here with 5 laps remaining. Only 3 DNFs as well, considering the majority of the race was in the rain. So, in towards turn 15, Jeffy leads in the Sauber to the Ferrari of Fanfitness. Powertwan is also on for a podium if he can get within 3 seconds of Hackmore. And then he has Jonas, his debut race. Jonas has been brilliant tonight. He's stayed out of trouble, he's been super respectful on track, he's left space, he's gone wheel to wheel. Everything you would want to see from a driver in their first race. He's done it, he's been in it, and he's come out the other end of it. So yeah, fantastic job. Here comes Fanfitness on Jeffy Boy, moves over to the right hand side, sets the fastest lap, and will try and take the lead of this Grand Prix. Wheel to wheel once more with the Sauber driver. Jonas is through on Powertwan. Both Saubers lose a position on lap 22, and now Fanfitness is your race leader with 4 and a bit laps to go. Oh, and that was Jeffy Boy trying to return the favour. What about Powertwan? Ryan Clemenson on the back of Deadly. Reese is now catching up to Lewis W, even with that missing end plate. It's not halted him too much in terms of pace. But at the moment, B Wright is on for 4 points. And Reese is on for 8. So the gap will be down to 29. That is obviously post penalties, of course. But yeah, provisionally it will be 29 points. So Fanfitness will have to defend, and there's nothing he can do against Jeffy Boy, who is back into the lead of the Grand Prix. It's basically going to be tit for tat all the way to the end of this race. Hackmore is going to try and get the lead off them, but he does have that time penalty to contend with. Here comes Reese on Lewis W. He's going to get DRS, so is Super Turbo. The Mercedes driver on the Alpine moves over to the right hand side, and he will get the overtake done. Here comes Super Turbo into the slipstream as well. He'll nick up the inside of the Alpine. He just pulls out, backs out from going for that move, and that is Hackmore on Fanfitness. Even with that time penalty, he is here to race. The Ferrari driver goes up the inside, nearly tags the McLaren, but they both come out of the other end of this, and luckily so, because that was really close racing between the pair of them. Oh, and that was Reese that I think just hit the wall there. Is that front wing starting to become a challenging issue for the Mercedes? But yeah, exactly that, Mad G. He's definitely got the bit between his teeth, Reese. Even with that front wing damage, he's doing a fabulous job of staying in front. So let's go back on board with the leaders. Jeffy's just got to hold off to Hackmore behind as we head on to lap 24. So Jeffy 7/10 clear of Hackmore. And then Fanfitness, all with that DRS. Jonas 5 seconds behind. And he's starting to pull away from Powertwan. Lewis W with that DRS enabled, as he chases down that Mercedes of Reese in front, who's now up to P9. More points he's able to take away. Here comes B Wright. He's got DRS as well on the Alpine of cars. And this is a big move for him, as Reese made up a position. That's extra points for him, and B Wright makes up a position, and that is more points for the Aston Martin driver. And I think the Alpine nearly went into the back of the triple world champion there as they come out of turn 2. The Aston Martin is free, and with just under 3 laps to go, he is free off the reins. The Mercedes hits the wall. Reese has gone into the wall. He's ghosted, and that is Lewis that's through. And is that even more damage for Reese, who loses the position to Lewis W in the Alpine? And because he ghosted, he was able to go in front as well. And Casper's out. Casper in the Williams is out of the Grand Prix. He's hit the wall. And that is the end of what's been a tremendous race for Casper. Casper ghosted. Wow. What an ending to this race. Jeffy Boy is still leading. Look how close Hackmore is to Jeffy Boy as we go down towards turn 2. Jeffy Boy in the Sauber. He needs to be clever about this, Jeffy. He knows that Hackmore's got a time penalty. Reese with that DRS again. Remember, he's had front wing damage for numerous laps now, has the Mercedes. And he'll be looking to get past the Alpine of Lewis W. Because these are big points on show, especially knowing that his championship rival is behind him. Super Turbo does have a time penalty, so if B. Wright is able to get within 3 seconds of him, he'll only finish a position behind Reese if Reese doesn't get past Lewis W. We are on to lap 25, the Mercedes driver, and he just pulls out there, doesn't want to go for that lunge up the inside, and rightly so. Reese is really struggling to keep hold of that Mercedes. So we are on lap 25, Jeffy leads to Hackmore to Fanford. Your top 3. Sorry guys, I was just watching something. So, Cam Pamphonus, he's going to get back through on Hackmore anyway because of that time penalty. But we are heading on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. Reese is getting closer to Lewis W. That is a yellow flag. That is cars that is round, and Joshua Bear is through. I mean, the fact that B. Wright isn't past Reese, that's got a lot to do with the fact that Joshua Bear kept him behind. So, really well done to the Mercedes team this evening. What a view that was. What an angle. There we go, 1 second. So Reese is back through on Lewis W. And as they come out of turn 2, this is going to be the Alpine's only opportunity, and he's not going to be able to get it. So this is a massive points total that Reese has got to take away from Baku, considering the race he's had. So yeah, incredible stuff. As I always say, this is provisional results, as we have to obviously look at reports and stuff, and there has been a few involving the championship leaders as well, the championship contenders. So in towards the castle section we go, but let's jump on board with Jeffy Boy. Hackmore is going to try and get him towards the line, but it's not going to matter. Jeffy Boy has put in an absolutely amazing display of racing here, and Hackmore will chase him down, but it will be Jeffy Boy, the man in the Sauber, is going to come down to the line, and Jeffy Boy is going to win here in Baku. Pamphonus takes P2, Hackmore in P3. The rest of the drivers, there's not much between them. Here comes Lewis W on Reese. Reese is going to give him the DRS. He's going to slow down. Lewis slows down. Reese slows down. They're both playing DRS chicken. This is incredible. They're playing DRS chicken. And they're letting the other drivers catch up. Reese managed to do it. And he managed to get through on Lewis W. But he's only opening himself up in case he gets a penalty, and he's in P8, and B. Wright takes P10. The two championship contenders in P8 and P10 here in Azerbaijan. It's really dangerous, that, yeah. Well done, Jeffy. Well done. So let's have a look at your final standings. On the top step is Jeffy Boy. So let's have a look. So Jeffy Boy takes your race victory. Fanfinis takes P2 and Hackmore in P3. Jonas in P4 and Powertwan in P5. Deadly in P6. Ryan Clemenson in P7. Reese in the Mercedes in P8. Lewis W in the Alpine in P9. B Wright in P10. Super Trubo in P11 and Joshua Bear in P12. Then comes Asbill in P13. Oh, Joshua Bear has a 10-second time penalty for his next race. Okay. That's just been added on. Then Asbill in P13, Cars in P14, then Casper, Mirko, Epico, Jim Bradders, who all retire. Your driver of the day, obviously, has to be Jeffy Boy from P11 on the grid to the race victory, and the moment of the day also goes to Jeffy. Well done, my friend. Well done. Right. I've got loads to do, and I've got an interview to prepare for, so I am going to shoot off. I'm sure the incident room is going to be absolutely packed. So anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. Thank you all so much. Thank you for supporting us as you always do. Well done to all the drivers. Enjoy the break. Enjoy the no racing next weekend. Enjoy the time with the family or whatever you're going to do, and I will see you back in Singapore. I will obviously see you in Realistic on Wednesday. But yeah, have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.